Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic of others insult American blacks overall because they are allowed. Again, today's topic is others insult American blacks overall because they are allowed. There was this book called Propaganda that was written in the later 1920s, which is about four generations ago. Let me say it again, in a book called Propaganda that was written about four generations ago, around the later parts of the 1920s. And it was very eye opening then, as it's still eye opening now in that book about propaganda. I'm just going to read you just the first couple of sentences of this under chapter one under organizing chaos. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in a democratic society. Mm, mm, mm. The personnel that various parts of society that are continually is a form of bullying, is a form of racial terrorism toward a particular culture. Which brings me to this: what culture was on plantations more than a particular culture? Was it numbers of Native Americans? Of course not. Was it number of what we call Hispanics? Of course not. Was it number of what we call Asians? Of course not. Was it what we call immigration groups? They're on plantations left and right for generations? Of course not. Was it border breaking illegal immigration personnel? Of course not. Was it alternative lifestyle categories? Were they getting traded like commodities on slave auction blocks not a long time ago? Of course not. But you have however sectionality in various parts of the personnel within the cultures and backgrounds and alternative lifestyle categories I just mentioned. How many benefit off of black pain, which is the number one culture in this country that experience more racial terrorism, more racial hate, more racial destruction, more racial discrimination, more racialistic terrorism, regardless for generations, is the American black, who has the number one category of hate crimes put upon them. Those other groups I just mentioned, well, maybe it's the personnel from predominant culture. So since there are ones that want to play reverse switchery gang tactics, right? Of course not. The number one culture within the country of America that has the most hate crimes is the American blacks. And this is what supremacists is doing when you have a sectionality of non-small percentage of American blacks who are allowing people to continue to insult the American blacks, which is an insult to the American black ancestors. This is what the supremacists are doing, and the others who know who they are. Yes, they are constantly laughing because there are others who are constantly insulting American blacks and treating American blacks as if American blacks just arrived in the United States a few years ago, as if they broke border immigration laws left and right. And even though border breaker illegal immigration personnel are treated better than American blacks. Let me sit there and show you something for a second. Give me one second. Let me sit there and show you something on that. Give me one moment. Let me show you something. Here.
Oh, I come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. As I grind to Louisiana, my true love for to see. Oh, it rained so hard the day I left, the weather it was dry. The sun so hot I froze to death. Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I've come from Alabama with my banjo on my knee. Oh, I had.
But you got numbers of personnel with a predominant culture who insult American blacks daily. You got numbers of Asian personnel that the ones who know what I'm talking about insult American blacks daily. You got numbers of Hispanic personnel, the ones I'm talking who know they are, insult American black folks daily. You got however numbers of Native American personnel. However they do their own little insulting about the ones who know they are in some kind of way every day or throughout the week or something. It's toward American blacks because American blacks obviously don't live among quite enough Native Americans. So they don't know what people continue to keep talking about every darn day. But there are people within different cultures who tell you that number of their people insult American blacks, right? They know who they are. And credit given to the ones, which is very few, who relate with information. Now, you don't get any cookies and ice cream, and you don't get, vegan ice sickles or ice pops. You don't get vegan soda. You don't get none of that. You do it because you know that that's on you to say it. Because anytime personnel who know where they are, they can change up and stop talking about that. And numbers of American blacks still haven't figured that game out on that part either. So what I just sit there and showed you, what other culture was portrayed like that for so long? There is nobody else, no other culture that predates Black Minstrel and the buffoonery, how it was showcased to other different cultures. No one predates that. And even now, the thing with the affirmative action situation that has happened a few days ago, that was such a blatant disrespect. Even there's still quite a number of American blacks that still don't know how insulting it was for that sectionality of Asians to sit there, and that also was what they were utilized by however personnel within certain sections of Padam's culture who utilize those numbers of Asians who want to be honorary personnel within the Padam's culture that continue to sit there and out as well as act like that the Asians personnel, whatever that's supposed to mean. There are good Asians and there are bad Asians. Which country Asia Asians? Which prefecture, which town, which ethnic group, right? But again, the game that's being played with just utilizing the word Asian because there's an internal caste system among Asian personnel, whatever that's supposed to mean. There are numbers of Asian personnel that can't stand other Asians. So the thing about it will walk right past another Asian that they look down upon. But that's not talking about, especially the darker skin, or may have a beautiful brown skin, right? And the ones who have non-melanation, the ones who know I'm talking about, will look right past their own type of Asian personnel, just like numbers of Hispanic personnel, just like certain ones of Native Americans, just like even certain border break or legal immigration personnel, just like certain ones immigration groups. But again, for many types of American blacks, still don't understand. The numbers of personnel can't stand American blacks. So again, with the affirmative action scenario that happened the other day, you had a certain section of Asians. It's not even nothing new, right? This was going on a few years ago where you had however certain number of Asian personnel that was sitting there talking about, trying to get in, some trying to get in this particular Ivy League school, the Ivy League school, and oh, they couldn't get in there all because they felt like the people of color, obviously to my American blacks, oh, they were getting there because of affirmative action. And you had numbers of American blacks that just kind of let that slide on by. And now nationwide, right, when this came to existence, when now, bam, it was decided now. Nope, that's unconstitutional, basically. Nope, those Ivy League schools, whoever, no, they really just can't use only racial based categories to get in, to allow people to get inside the certain type of Ivy League schools and other personnel. What? Let me sit there and show you something. And that was an insult. Let me sit there and show you something with that. Well, that was such an insult. Give me one moment. Let me sit there and show you something with that. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Where is that at?
Discrimination still exists in America. We cannot let this decision be the last word.
President Joe Biden slamming today's Supreme Court decision, striking down affirmative action admissions policies in higher education, urging colleges and universities not to abandon their pursuit of greater diversity on campus.
What I propose for consideration is a new standard, where colleges take into account the adversity a student has overcome when selecting among qualified applicants.
The Supreme Court heard two cases challenging the admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. The High Court's conservative majority ruled 6-3 to end the use of race as a factor in college admissions. Chief Justice John Roberts writing the majority opinion, saying both schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and therefore must be invalidated. In a fiery dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote, "This decision rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress."
You're not allowed to include race, which is such an encompassing part of at least my identity as an underrepresented minority. It makes me feel upset.
Roberts clarified that students could still use their experiences about race in admission essays, but schools couldn't use those essays to circumvent today's ruling, saying universities may not simply establish through application essays the regime we hold unlawful.
Now we look at the individual student and what they've accomplished, and we can look at what barriers they've overcome.
Edward Bloom, representing the conservative advocacy group seeking to overturn affirmative action, argued before the justices that the two schools discriminated against.
Mm, 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 Hold on, let me go
Representing
back.
the conservative advocacy group seeking to overturn affirmative.
Give me one moment. Let me go back here.
And what they've accomplished.
Mm, mm, mm. See, again, you have personnel within certain sections of Asians. We're not talking about Asiatic blacks because people still don't talk about that. See, you got numbers of Asian personnel who want to be honorary personnel within the Padang based culture, the ones I'm talking about who can't stand American blacks, right? How many of numbers of Asian personnel that are not even citizens, right? And they sit there and ones that go to the different colleges, they're not even citizens, the ones I'm talking about. The ones who know they're not citizens, what I'm getting at. But they sit there and be able to apply you in whatever documents to be able to try to get into these various types of Ivy League schools and things like that. No, crackerjack of shot cocktail about anything reality about American Black history. But where are all these different Asian personnel when Black folks were formerly going through slavery for generations? Where's all these various types of Asian personnel who were sitting there in other different Asian countries, not even around in the US because the majority of various Asian personnel weren't even around in America in the 1700s nor the 1600s. Mm, mm, mm. But let's utilize 1700s. In 1776, because today is July the 3rd, 2023, tomorrow being July the 4th, 2023. And you have personnel that's going to celebrate 4th of July celebration and the day that the states united to sit there and stand to declare the independence from some personnel overseas and stuff like that to declare their independence. But then you say what those personnel came from some of the same places that they were saying that they saying we don't want them to tell us anything. But many of them came from the same places and escaped and ran fast across those boats to go into this new world, wink, wink, to sit there and not be told what to do, right? But sit there and benefit off of free labor from black folks eventually, benefit off plantations, right? And that's oh, it was. That's what I say. But see, well, but there are people. Well, there are people within the Padang-based culture that didn't sit there and benefit of slavery. So it wasn't all. See, they want especially numbers of American blacks to look like this. When some American blacks try to relay information, oh, they don't want that. They want American blacks to do this, right? See, they don't want any kind of American black say, hey, hold on for a second. First of all, that is a bold-faced little white lie. It's logical sense that it wouldn't be all personnel that would have done that, right? So that's not even the point, right? But they'll try to minimize it again, right? And act like it really wasn't quite a number of person with a plant coach that benefited off of black pain then. Because again, they'd be like, it wasn't all. I'm not listening to that nonsense. I'm like, I'm not even listening to that, right? Because it's game tactics, right? Deflectionary tactics, right? And so again, let me play you something since we're on that. But let me play you something. Give me one moment here. Give me one moment. Uh, One moment for a second. Oh, excuse me. Give me. Let me go back here. Go back here. I want you to show me where there was a waiting room for colored only by order. Oh, excuse me. Let me get that other one off. Let me go back here. Waiting room for colored only by order police department. Show again where that was shown for numbers of Asians, numbers of Hispanics, numbers of Native Americans, numbers of personnel within Padang-based culture, numbers of border breakers, numbers of immigration groups. Show again where that was a waiting room like that. And you see the word colored, and you got numbers of American blacks being the one I'm talking about being gullible and keep allowing people to put them in a people of color and minority based category, right? Because here again, you do have certain sections of American blacks that keep allowing people who know they are to kind of put them in people of color, or excuse me, to allow them to slide under people of color and minority based category, right? And they're sitting there laughing. Let me show you something for a second. Give me one moment. Let me sit there and show you something. Where is that at? One moment. One moment.
Peace perhaps on your side, Maximal Scum. Yes, but not on ours. Permit me to inform you that an enemy which appears to be peaceful may in fact be merely biding its time.
Let's play it one more time.
Peace perhaps on your side, Maximus Scum. Yes, but not on ours. Permit me to inform you that an enemy which appears to be peaceful may in fact be merely biding its time.
Mm, 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 mm. Right? Mm. So again, like that affirmative action situation, see, you had certain Asian personnel, right, that was saying that nonsense and acting like there was not one American black in various types of Ivy League schools, in various types of predominantly attending colleges. There's not one American black that scores uh, uh, a higher SAT, a higher SAT, didn't have other type of accolades and other type of documents showing that they deserve to get in there. So you have personnel within certain parts of Asian personnel, and you got higher personnel within predominant culture that when they act like that, there's no such thing as not one other American black man or woman that really deserves to get in Ivy League colleges because that's taken away from numbers of Asians or certain numbers of personnel within predominant culture. Do you see the nonsensical shot lot buffoonery that sounds like an insultingness? And this is allowed by quite a number of American blacks. Watch this for a second. Give me one moment. Woo! Oh, wait, let's play it again. Very important. Mm, mm, mm. Go to China. Mm, Yeah. So, how many personnel comes from certain parts of China? How many personnel comes from various other types of Asian countries that have the mentality and get on the plane or get on the boat, right? Run across the ocean as fast as possible because they can't do anything in their own native countries, right? Because they are average to quite enough people in their own country because they don't stand out from their own countries, right? There are nothing in their own countries, quite a number of them. So they get as fast as possible to run over to America to try to get into those Ivy League colleges and other different places, right? And have the nerve to sit there and insult the American blacks. I'm talking about the ones who do this. Because again, you'll have again, there will be some naive numbers of American blacks and stuff like that that would offend personnel, be like, oh, there are people of color, minority too. And again, this is what numbers of them do every time they sit there and hear American blacks talking about, oh, people of color, minority people too. Yes, that's what they doing. So they laughing. And again, just like that affirmative action situation, we had that certain section of Asians who just outright insulted numbers of American blacks. The ones that did the work or did the application, put in the work to get there, got the decent grades, got the good grades, got the recommendations, did all kind of different things, various types of volunteer work, did all different kind of things to apply. And as if every single American black that's done that has gotten to Ivy League colleges, right? You see, that don't even make any sense, right? But at the same time, you have certain types of Asian personnel. Oh, I got a perfect score on my SAT. So the hell what? Go to hell. This other personnel, this particular Asian personnel said, well, I've done this and I've done this. So what? Go to hell, right? It's an insult to American blacks, talking about the ones who know the American blacks. It is an insult. Not talking about the sellouts. It's an insult to the American black ancestors. And even when they talk about this, when they utilize the thing with the Harvard and the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill, let me sit there and show you the statistics for the Harvard part of it, since that was one of the things that people were using and acting like, oh, black folks that got in certain parts of Harvard basically because of affirmative action, and that took away basic numbers of agents and some personnel within Paname's culture. Let me sit there and show you something. Man, that was such an insult. That was such an insult on that. They didn't show the statistics. See, they just said some bull crap, right? Look at statistics for Harvard class of 2023, right? You one moment. You see 2023, right? You see where it says left side Hispanics. You see the percentage. It's a small. Let me go back. It is a small percentage. It is a small percentage, right? It is a small percentage of Hispanics, right? That went to Harvard. The American Indians, small. You see where it says the Asians, they were small. I mean, American Indian or Alaska Native, extremely small. Asians, way up there, right? Way up there. Give me 1 second. Let me change it again. Give me one moment. Let me change that again. Give me one moment. Let me redo that again. I don't know if that went through or not. So the thing about it, if you look at that, you'll see where it's the Asians, right? I mean, excuse me, Hispanics on the left side, around about 10%. You see the other part about the American Indians, small. Asians were like above 20%. Blacks were less than 10%. Pacific Islanders, small. South Asians, small. And whites way up there, was like past 40 some percent. But you see, Asians outnumbered American blacks. But you see the game. You see the game that's being played. What an insult. So there's more numbers of Asian personnel that went to Harvard. There's more Asian personnel that went to University of North Carolina Chapel Hill. And there's certainly, as you see, more than whites at Harvard. But you got people that insulted the heck out of numbers of American blacks. Acting as if, again, American blacks just got in there to those Ivy League schools because of affirmative action. Well, you got numbers of Asian personnel numbers of them did exactly the stat, got no benefit off black pain to get in those different colleges. And don't even get started a number of the whites that got into those colleges because of legacy. And you surely know, how many numbers of whites with those colleges did not score more than every single American black and every single American or black woman or black man. As if that 40 some percent of whites in Harvard 2023 had more accolades, better grades, did more things, better SATs, better ACT, and every single other black person that sit there and apply for Harvard. You see the nonsense of this? Because there's an agenda. Let's keep going. There was such a nonsense on that. And numbers of American blacks don't understand the insultingness of that, what certain sections of Asians did on that. But let's continue. Let's continue for a second. Give me one moment. Give me one moment here for a second. Oh, let's keep going to the next area of that.
We remain a hunted people. Now you think you have a destiny to fulfill in this land that historically has been ours for 40,000 years. And we're a new mestizo nation. This is our homeland. We cannot, we will not, and we must not be made illegal in our own homeland. We are not immigrants that came from another country to another country. We are migrants free to travel the length and breadth of the Americas because we belong here. We are millions. We just have to survive.
What a super slap in the face of the American black ancestors. And you hear, oh well, we are the migrants. He didn't say citizens. So you got personnel that have this messed up mentality that is for pro border breaking illegal immigration personnel. Look at this for a second. You got personnel that are about this, right? Now remember, American blacks, they got their hands out, right? Trying to get reparations and just complain about racial racism when you got border breakers, illegal immigration personnel doing this every day somewhere. Mm. Look at that. Look at that. And how many are getting free legal resources? How many are getting free pregnancy care? Just came across the border. Numbers of women pregnant. Pop out a baby. Already had 2 or 3 other babies. Or if they had one, they have 2 or 3, 4 other ones. Who's paying for that? Right? Who's paying for that? They're laughing because then they get automatic citizenship for that baby. So then it becomes an anchor baby. So then they ain't got to worry about being deported. You see this game? It's an insulting. And those American blacks still haven't got it because these border breaker illegal immigration personnel will be considered what? People of color and minority. And here's the thing about affirmative action and other different things. The number one personnel, number one, number two personnel who benefit off affirmative action for generations have not been American blacks, but it's been women and numbers of males within predominant culture. But especially numbers of women have been the progenitors of 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 getting over utilizing affirmative action. So they never talk about what about gender affirmative action, right? Oh, racial slash gender affirmative action, right? Are there not numbers of women from within the predominant culture every day that's sitting there showing racial terrorism hatred toward numbers of American black women? Of course, right? But then you got certain numbers of American black women sitting there jumping on the board with white feminism. What an insult. And you got numbers of women from within the predominant culture. They're sitting there doing this as well toward numbers of American black women that sit there and keep falling for white feminism. This is what they keep doing as well. Yes. And unfortunately, I have to sit there and show this. This is why I always say that the American blacks only have half generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the American black culture overall. Yes. You got certain type of women within the predominant culture that are laughing. And those are American black women that don't even realize they're being used under white feminism, right? Don't realize that. Let me show you something. But again, affirmative action, they want to just make it act like it was based upon only race. And even though you say, okay, let's go with that. Well, women within the predominant culture would be considered white, which then means that that would have been the progenitors of affirmative action, or the numbers of males within predominant culture would be considered white, had benefit off affirmative action themselves, right? From sitting there being helped out to get homes, to sit there helping them go to school, to sit there helping them getting land. So you see this game to keep playing, but you got personnel that don't want to talk about who are the progenitors, who are the poster board personnel of receiving affirmative action. I mean, it's like an insult that numbers of American blacks still haven't saw this game yet. Let me sit there and show you something.
And then everyone's called a white supremacist. I'm sorry, but we're not white supremacists. Well, I guess I'm not. Yes, I am, because the term nowadays, white supremacist, means you're a patriot. So I have a sign that I do carry sometimes, and I say proud white supremacist, because a white supremacist is a patriot. And I don't appreciate defining people by their race, by their sex, by their beliefs, by their values, etc. We are all Americans, and I think coming with
And they fixed their mouth to believe that bull crap. Watch this. Does that look like, which wasn't a long time ago, say it's colored waiting room. Does that look like that black folks weren't defined by color? See, there are numbers of women within predominant culture that are warped into feminism, right? And they laugh at numbers of American black women, and they sure laugh at American black males, right? A game, right? You should not be defined by the race, stuff like that, but colored, right? Waiting room, that's not defined by race, right? Mm-hmm. Watch this for a second.
I don't believe in segregation. I believe in slavery.
Mm-mm. Let me play that. Let me play that again.
I don't believe in segregation. I believe in slavery.
But you hear that woman within the Panamese culture, oh, we should not be defined by race. But at the same time, I'm not saying her personally, don't or don't care, but the mentality, how many of them benefit off again affirmative action? And she said she's a white supremacist. They insult the heck out of numbers of American black folks every day, right? Look at this. Look on the left side, ladies and men and colored. So when this was going on, this is before many other cultures, again, even in America. This would have been going before many Asians even set foot in America. This certainly would have been going before many Hispanics. This would have been going before numbers of border breakers, illegal immigration personnel. This has been going on for certain type of immigration personnel, right? This that was going on still while you had numbers of Native Americans, what we call Native Americans, right? Sitting there talking about the white men took our land. Even though how many personnel within the Panamese culture, numbers of males and females, put their name on certain roles and sit there and pay a little few dollars to call themselves Native Americans. What a game in itself. But again, the insultingness toward American black is ridiculous because again, there are quite a number of American blacks that continue to allow this stuff to continue to keep happening. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let me sit there and show you something. Let me sit there and show you something. Give me one moment here. Let me sit there and show you something.
Why do Arabs hate black people? I was asked that question. Arabs don't hate black people. Newsflash. Okay, our prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his imam was a black guy named Bilal. So they have nothing against the black race. It's just majority of Arabs or Muslims that dislike black people have either been wronged by them or like some way wronged or have heard stories.
Where was, I don't know if that went through. I was talking. I don't know if that thing went through or not. But I was saying, just in case it didn't go through, where was the various types of Arab personnel at in Selma, Alabama, 1965, when black folks were getting trampled over by uh, uh, racial racism terrorist personnel, the ones of bad seed that's supposed to do protect and serve, the ones I'm talking about, they knew who they are. Where's that Arabs up then? I didn't see nobody stamping on Arabs. They weren't stepping on Hispanics. They weren't stepping on horses, and they weren't getting beat down by billy clubs, stuff like that. But no, the racial racism, terrorists, bad seeds. They weren't beating down border breakers, illegal immigration personnel. They weren't beating down what we call Native Americans. They weren't beat down again numbers of Asian personnel, right? Because how many was sitting back in their own little neighborhoods and not thinking about nothing else and trying to get their little stuff together, which many weren't even around in the first place in this country, right? But at the same time, the very few amount of Asian personnel overall, the very few amount of Hispanic personnel, the very few amount of even Native Americans still, which is still a small amount, everybody's doing a little thing. While American blacks was going through black pain and still going through it. But again, numbers of American blacks continue to allow people to insult them as if American blacks just arrived over here in the country a few years ago. Let's continue. Let's continue for a second. Let's continue. And the nerve of that, the last person I showed you, be it she's an Arab or whatever it is, or Muslim, when Arabs were the progenitors of enslaving, well, excuse me, when Arabs predated numbers of conquering numbers of whites, they predated them by centuries. Numbers of Arab personnel, the Arab slave trade. The nerve of some of these numbers of Arabs, some of these Muslim people, the ones I'm talking about, not the ones that are the okay ones, but the nerve of some of these, man, they're insulting this to the American blacks. And you got numbers of American blacks that just tolerate this and they continue to keep doing it because it is allowed. Let's continue on this. Let's continue. Let's continue on this. Give me 1 second here. One moment here. Oh, this is a good one. Now let's go to certain types of alternative lifestyle category, right? Now, every time you look around, there's something about, oh, you don't like a certain type of alternative lifestyle categories, right? Oh, they trying to look around, they getting trying to get laws or getting laws and policies, going through and stuff like that, specific for a term alternative lifestyle category, right? Now, even though there are black folks in certain parts of a term like that category that's getting racial racism terrorized by certain ones that are non-black within various parts of the term like that category. And unfortunately, there's just there's really not too many versions of American blacks within certain parts of America of the term like that category that have that James Baldwin, right? James Baldwin was a strong scholar, very down to earth American black male uh, that was part of the alternative lifestyle category a long time ago, before he passed. But the thing about James Baldwin, he knew he was black first, and you didn't hear anything about various parts of the alternative lifestyle category come to his rescue to tell numbers of personnel within the predominant culture, leave him alone. Nope. So again, and you got unfortunate numbers of American blacks, the ones that are in certain parts of alternative lifestyle category, don't even realize that they're being used as well. But again, American blacks continue overall to be insulted and not do nothing at all. Watch this for a second.
To suffer with. There's demons, bro. You can't even talk. Look at that. There's demons, bro. Oh, 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 shit.
Oh my goodness. That wasn't even funny. Let's play. Let me play that again. because you got numbers of personnel within Paname's culture. You got numbers of ones within certain parts of the term lifestyle category. Oh, they want to act like that. Oh, they got so many people hating on them left and right, but they never make a distinction. Who are you talking about? Because again, you got numbers of personnel within you got numbers of personnel within sectionality within a term lifestyle category who are from personnel within predominant culture who show racial terrorism toward American blacks, the ones who also show racism, terrorism to even personnel within American blacks, who certain ones are within the part of a term like that category, but they don't want to talk about that. It's an insult, and this is insult overall to American blacks who don't even call this stuff out. But let's play this again. Let's show that again. To suffer with. Damn demons, bro. You can't even talk. Look at that. Damn demons, bro. Oh, 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 shit. Oh my goodness. Spitting? Salivating? Spitting, right? They had stuff on the ground. This particular person had stuff on the ground showing uh, parts of American black pain and stuff like that, and other different historical things relating to blacks. Or they say other different things besides black, right? Other different terminologies, but it still comes down to black, right? And you saw this person from this part of term lifestyle category who spit upon the things that they were showing. That is hatred. That should be considered a hate crime. But again, American blacks, oh, they just complain about race. Oh, they're all talking about race. Look at this. Warning, mauling, drain, trucking, and delivery wagons are not allowed in this park and are prohibited by city ordinance. Ben Campbell, Mayor. Negroes, keep out. Did you see that say anything about Asians? Keep out. Native Americans, keep out. Border breaking legal immigration out. Keep out. Numbers of women within the Panamese culture. Keep out. Numbers of males within Panamese culture. Keep out. Where did it say anything about immigration personnel? Keep out. This is embarrassing. And the numbers of American blacks just continue to keep getting insulted by people within various other groups, or sections of personnel within other groups. Who says it keeps showing a racial hatred in some kind of way, daily to no to weekly in some kind of way, right? But at the same darn time, what happened within the last couple of years, right? Stop Asian hatred. Oh my goodness. And then you don't sit there, and then you got sectionality of American blacks and sellouts and gullible ones who know I'm talking about. They don't want to say anything about race. Oh, oh my goodness. Let me sit there and show you something. Give me one moment. What insult? Give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can find this. Give me 1 second. What an insult is this? Oh, let me sit there and show you. Oh, here it is.
Absolutely wonderful to be here. I am deeply honored by the invitation and by the enthusiasm that I feel and the sense of connection that I feel with my Korean sisters and brothers. I want to thank CEO Unsuk Choi and the Senior Director Grace Kang for their kindness, for their hospitality. Representing you in the United States Senate is the high honor of my life.
Did you hear this American black man on the outside say anything about helping American blacks? What an insult! What an insult! Oh, but those American blacks always get their hand out and always talking about race issues. Oh, but inviolence against Asians. Inviolence against Asians. Oh my goodness. The saltiness. And again, numbers of American blacks keep getting salted daily, collectively in some kind of way. You get numbers of American black, numbers of personnel within certain political parties that ain't doing nothing for American blacks, but they gonna expect American blacks to vote in 2024 elections and still not give them and still not give earned reparations. What an insult! But they sit there and made sure to help out with passing an anti-Asian law. They sit there and make sure to help out with having border breaking illegal immigration personnel. They make sure to continue giving reparations to sit there what we could call Native Americans. Do you see this game? They continue to make sure DACA keeps going on for certain types of Hispanic personnel. Keep making sure, however, immigration personnel get taken care of. People keep making sure to give people many months, uh, giving however amount of a lot of quite a lot amount of money. The ones I'm talking about to immigration personnel who they are to help them start businesses. Oh, that's a little dirty little white secret that people don't. A lot of none of the American blacks don't get it. These people are getting money to start businesses. Bypass you. You got a person that's getting housing assistance, getting to their job situations, but definitely business opportunities that they're getting over American blacks. But this game, but America, but again, this is what American knows American blacks be doing because they don't understand. Oh, this is what none of the American blacks do because they still don't quite get the ones I'm talking about. They continue to keep allowing people to sit there and put them in a people of color and minority based people of color and a minority category switchery tactic because they keep thinking that various other cultures are their friends.
Peace, perhaps on your side, Maximal scum. Yes, but not on ours. Permit me to inform you that an enemy which appears to be peaceful may in fact be merely biding its time.
Mm, mm, mm. Buying is time, right? And the ones who know they are sitting there getting their demographics up. None of the ones that are buying their time that are getting those businesses up. None of the buying their time getting those free legal resources. None of the buying their time, or should I say, continue getting those free reparations. But American blacks can't get no reparations, can't get no anti-black bill or black law passed. What an insult! The numbers of American blacks still don't get it. Still don't get it. Let me sit there and show you something. I don't want to show that. I showed that already. Give me one moment here. Give me one moment here. Hold on.
This is News for Nashville.
I said, I called him the N-word. I ain't gonna lie.
An elected official in Sumner County admits to calling his next door neighbors a racial slur on camera. And now his biracial neighbor says he should step down from office.
Our chief investigative reporter Jeremy Finley obtained this video. And Jeremy, you got this video even though the city won't release it.
Well, that's right. So a source provided it to us. Then we tracked down the alderman's next door neighbor. She claims she heard the alderman call her and her husband the N-word following a dispute.
See, they didn't care about racial tariffs don't care about you having being biracial. They don't care about that. They look at saying, well, you know what? Under that one drop rule that was still less than 100 years ago, this is all they still see. How many stories over and over again you still have a biracial black child to say a woman or a woman to a woman within Panamanian culture, and still that still male child, and Harvard numbers of certain female children that are biracial, and still be called the N word. And you still got numbers of American blacks still don't get it. But again, numbers of American blacks again just continue to keep being allowed. I mean, keep allowing American numbers of American blacks to keep getting insulted because it is allowed. So I'm almost finishing up on this show, and let me see if I want to show something else here on that. Give me one moment here. Let me see if I want to show. Let me show you. Wait, give me one moment here. But look at this for a second. This was part of the um, the insurrection that happened a few years ago, right? But American blacks, told, oh, they're violent. They're told that they're violent and things like that. That they're always showing violence and stuff like that. And then this was the January 6, 2021 anarchist resurrect. January, this was the January 6, 2021 anarchist, anarchist, anarchy by a gigantic amount of personnel within the Panamanian culture. But American blacks are told they're violent. But American blacks are told that they're violent. Golly. Oh, look at this. Look at this for a second. But they're told, oh, you don't like enforcement. Oh, blacks told, oh, you got to think you're anti-enforcement. Look at January 6, 2021. These are the personnel, Panama cultures, various ones that were going against the Capitol Police people and other different people up there. But did you hear people jump up and down calling numbers of personnel within Panama culture? Did you hear them calling them violent and criminals left and right? Did that sit there and affect numbers of males within the Panama culture? Did they affect their psychic out? Nope. But American black males especially continues to be insulted daily. Not to myself, some gullible ones, because they don't get it. But again, you got numbers of people within Panama culture that continue to keep allowing American blacks overall to be insulted. This is so ridiculous. It should be so obviously what people continue to keep doing on this. Let me sit there and show you something else for a second. No, I don't want. Yeah, that's another different topic. One last thing. I'm going to show you something from the great Dr. John Henry Clark.
So you might have some romance with one of these religions. I have no romance with any of them. I have a romance with reality and truth. And it just can fall where they may after I tell it. As for friends, you have had no friends. When they discovered you, they began to prey on you.
Mm, mm, mm. Thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show. I thank you for tuning in. Take care.